In Keene in New Hampshire, and I've just brought you a clip there on my occasional motorcycle series on a couple of lovely Honda CB754s, and I promised I'd try and catch up. Well, right across the road I came across these two charming gentlemen, and the gentleman that's going the gentleman who has grabbed the young lady there, who isn't his wife, has got the 79, is it?
76.
76, 75, 76.
Yeah.
Now, tell me, you've had it for how long?
This one, 4 years.
4 years.
I bought one brand new just like it.
Right, so it's a reliving the childhood type?
Yeah, I've known this one since 1976.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're a local around here?
I am.
Yeah.
About 35, 40 miles
Excellent.
east of here.
And it's now coming into May, well, it's into May, so you're in your riding season. How many months of a year would you actually get to ride?
I ride into November.
Right.
So it's 8 months, 9 months I can ride.
Right, now opposite we have a man with a funny accent whose name is Sean, S-E-A-N, which means he doesn't come from this area. Sean, tell us a little bit about yourself and motorbikes in your life.
Well, mine's also a CB750 from 1974, which I've owned since 1978. And it has travelled with me through about 35, 36 countries now.
Now, at the moment you're on, correct me if I'm wrong, trip 2, is that correct?
Part 2.
Part 2.
Of at least a 3-part odyssey, I like to call it.
So, Sean, if it's a 3-part odyssey, we'll just wait for the tractor trailer, or semi-trailers as we call them, to go past. You'd have to be looking at coming down south to Australia, is that correct sometime?
That's correct.
Right,
Part 3 is to New Zealand and Australia.
But at the moment, tell me, I remember showing my viewers, it said, now I've clean forgot where you're going from.
Belfast to Belfast.
Yeah,
by bike.
Belfast to Belfast. Now, we were in Belfast, a few weeks ago. We didn't have the motorbike, so Belfast, is that your home, or?
Well, Belfast, where I was born and grew up, but home is the south of France now. It's too cold and wet in Belfast.
I agree with 100%. If you go down the south of France, you have all those lovely young ladies running around with very little on.
Not where I am.
Not that he's noticed. Not that he's noticed.
Now, anyhow, getting back, what was the first major trip, Sean, that you did on your CB750?
Well, that was Belfast to Belfast, from Belfast, South Africa, back to Belfast in Northern Ireland, which was the realisation of something I dreamed up about 37 years previously.
That's a Harley.
That was a Harley. Thank God Honda 754s are more civilised. So I believe you had at that stage a family down in South Africa?
No, well, I was living in Zimbabwe at the time.
Oh, right, okay.
So, but I do have family in South Africa as well, but that
Right.
was
And
incidental.
as far as adventure-wise and mechanical-wise, how did that trip go?
Perfect.
Perfect.
So the only mechanical problem was an electrical failure of a modern part that I replaced on the bike.
I can vouch for that.
Otherwise, I came up through the whole of Africa without so much as a puncture.
Right. And what year was that? What all years?
It was from March 2019 to March 2020, 2 days before the world closed.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
got stuck in Northern Ireland for 9 months after that.
I could think of a lot better places. Although I must admit, we had a wonderful time in Northern Ireland. We went to Ballymoney and we paid our respects to Joey and the Dunlop family
All right,
there.
yeah.
Then we went across the Isle of Man and paid our respects on the top of the mountain. And not Laura, but I've had the opportunity also to Slovenia, I think it is, where he was killed. Lithuania, so wherever it is anyhow. But what
There's Christopher's YouTube.
this current trip, how are we going mechanically on this trip?
Well, we had a bit of a problem this last week because I was having difficulty shifting gears, and we dismantled the clutch and all sorts of things to try and find the problem. The problem turned out to be a loose screw.
Right.
So I have a loose screw, which many people would say that we've known that all along.
I wasn't going to mention that, Sean. Riding bikes around the world, you definitely don't. It's a real brotherhood of people riding bikes around the world. Now, what sort of? We'll just wait for the Harley to make it. Although I think that was a metric cruiser, wouldn't be sure. What sort of mileage do you have on the Honda at this stage?
There's about 50,000 miles on it now.
So it's almost getting to be run in other
Yeah,
words.
I mean, it's still a youngster.
Yeah.
It's, it's still going strong, and I think it's probably outlast me. That's what I said to everybody who was questioning whether the bike would make it up through Africa. Do you think the bike will make it? They used to say that. I said, I'm not worried about the bike.
It's whether Sean
It's whether
can
I
make.
it.
Yeah, because I've actually seen them with 500,000 on them. I know there's a couple in Australia that were part of the VIP police fleet, and the boys loved them so much they'd ride them from literally if the governor or someone was going the other side of the country, they'd take the bikes rather than ship them. And but anyhow, thanks very much, Sean, for talking to us in this lovely downtown Keene, where we just have the school bus going past and we see your bikes on the other side of the street there. So like the channel with a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and tell us about some of the rides that you've done in the world. Oh yes, we've got little mopeds, all sorts of bikes. So if you've got nothing better to do and you see a 750 Honda with a bright metal flake gold windscreen on it, wave to Sean.
That only arrived yesterday. That only arrived this week.
But you'll see all the gear on it. Give him a thumbs up, offer him a cup of coffee or fill his tank and pay forward. Thanks very much and subscribe to the channel.